life, I truly thought that my life was at the end of the road. It was November 28th, 1992, about 2 o'clock in the morning. I had been out drinking all night long. I was homeless. I had borrowed my friend Steve's truck, and I had been driving like the absolute worst human being on planet Earth. I don't know anybody that could have been driving worse than me that night, and I was so lucky that I did not hurt another human being. I did not crash myself. I did not kill myself. And I am so blessed right now that I was stopped that night. Now, if you're like me and maybe you've got a drinking problem or a drugging problem and you're still actively using, and maybe you've been stopped by a police officer or two, or maybe you've wrecked a car or two, and especially if you've gotten stopped, then you're like, gosh, that cop, if he had only not stopped me, if I had only gone to the left, if I only gone to the right, And what happened to me was just a few years ago, it hit me that how blessed was I to have gotten stopped that night. My immediate reaction when I did get stopped, as you can imagine, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. And then they put me in handcuffs and they bring me over to the police station. And then I flunk a breathalyzer test. I lose my license. I'm homeless. And I truly thought that that was the end of the road for me. Like, what hope do I have? And a wonderful ex-girlfriend came and picked me up at 4:30 in the morning at the police station, and I just looked at her from about 20 feet away, and I said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And she looked at me and she said, I can smell you from here. And I was like, wow. And she encouraged me to get some help, and my brother David helped get me into a 12-step program. And so my point is that there's help for you if you're feeling like I was at the end of the road. Maybe you're feeling that way now. Maybe you're not feeling quite the way you want to feel. Maybe your dreams aren't coming true. The money's not there. The relationship's not there, whatever it may be. But the fact that I got stopped that night gives me the opportunity to go out and live my dreams, make videos to hopefully encourage you to go out and live your best life. And you know what I got the opportunity to do just a couple of years ago? It hit me out of the blue. I need to go and thank that police officer who stopped me that night, because truly he saved my life, because there's no telling what would have happened had he not pulled me over when he did the way I was driving, because I still had a bit to go before I got to where I was going. And I was able to find that officer through the police station. They gave me his name. I looked him up on social media. He invited me over his house. Officer Bud Latham of the Warwick Police Department invited me over to his house so I could shake his hand and thank him for saving my life. And he looked at me and he said, it was really cool of you to come over here and do that. He goes, nobody ever does that. Everybody just wants to tell us how rotten we are. And I said, well, Officer Bud, because you did your job that night to serve and protect the community from me and my outrageous driving, I said, I've been able to help hundreds upon hundreds of people in 12-step programs with drugs and alcohol and recovery get out of their addictions and move on to better lives. And those people, Officer Bud, have been able to do the same. So just because you did your job that night, as you were paid to do, to serve and protect and take me off the road, there is no number that we can put on the goodness of what that stop did that night for mankind. So thank you. And I say to you, if you're still stuck in an addiction, everything you've done up until this point is your testimony, your story, and your story matters. You matter. And I pray today that if you haven't started doing so already, you'll put down the drink, put down the drug, and you'll start living your life of purpose.